My name was Karim. I was a Sheikh. Respected, revered, a vessel of guidance in a world that often felt confined within the walls of tradition. For years, I led the faithful in prayer, navigating the complex currents of spirituality in a multicultural Paris, where the echoes of devotion mingled with the silence of unvoiced questions I was afraid to ask. I was the embodiment of discipline, yet beneath my austere exterior, a storm of doubt raged silently within. Then one fateful night, as I stood before my congregation, leading the Taraweeh prayer, the air thick with expectation, everything shifted. In an instant I collapsed, not just physically, but into a realm beyond understanding. In that moment of darkness, I encountered a light, a being that shattered my preconceived notions and laid bare the spiritual war weaving through our lives. Jesus appeared before me not as a figure of debate, but as a proclamation of truth, calling my name and awakening my spirit to the reality I had been blind to. What I witnessed was a deep spiritual unraveling, how traditions, which once enveloped me in safety, began to suffocate the very essence of faith. I was shown the insidious web of control that infiltrates not just our practices, but the very foundation of society itself, an unseen battle of belief that pulls us away from genuine connection to the divine. The truth was more dangerous than I could have imagined, yet it was also more liberating. I had been misled, and now the time had come to confront what lay hidden in the shadows. The aftermath was chaotic. As I returned to consciousness, I faced the disdain of those I once called brothers. The community I had dedicated my life to now branded me a traitor, and my heart was heavy with the weight of rejection. But in that darkness, a flicker of hope emerged. I found solace in secret places, reading the Bible, searching for answers among those who shared similar journeys. Every whispered word felt like a step toward understanding. The call to share my experience echoed louder than the fear of extinguishing my past. In this video, I will reveal how my encounter with Jesus transformed my understanding of faith and purpose. I'll take you on a journey through the depths of spiritual awakening, highlighting how one profound moment can reshape an entire life, a life once tethered by doubt, now soaring in unshakable truth. Before we dive deeper, I invite you to share your location and the time where you are watching from in the comments below. Your stories are integral to this journey. And if you feel the pull of divine truth, subscribe to Truth from Beyond. Together, we will unravel the mysteries that connect us all. Come join me in exploring the revelations awaiting us. In the heart of a multicultural neighborhood in Paris, I stand as a Sheikh, leading the Taraweeh prayers during Ramadan, a time steeped in devotion and reflection. My name is Amir, and for years I've dedicated myself to guiding my community in faith. Surrounded by mosques and bustling community centers, the air is thick with reverence for tradition. The prayer space comes alive every evening with the voices of my congregation. Yet beneath the surface lies a suffocating silence, a silence that envelops any internal questioning. Each night, as I recite the familiar verses, a nagging emptiness lingers in the back of my mind, echoing doubts I dare not voice. Lately, as my heart seeks deeper meaning, I find myself struggling to reconcile my devotion with the growing unrest within me. There's a part of me craving authentic connection with the divine, but I'm trapped in a world that values conformity over exploration. With each prayer, I sense the layers of expectation weighing me down. I know the teachings well, yet they often feel more like shackles than a pathway to enlightenment. During Ramadan, As I strive to cleanse my soul, my internal battle intensifies, propelling me toward an awakening that feels both terrifying and alluring. One fateful night, while leading the prayers, I fell into an unexpected trance. I was suddenly transported from the prayer space to a desolate desert, where the air was thick with an oppressive darkness that felt suffocating. As I stood there, confusion washed over me, followed by a flicker of light in the distance. Driven by a force beyond my comprehension, I moved toward that light, my heart pounding. It was there, amidst the shadows, that I encountered Jesus. His presence radiated love and warmth, the kind I had yearned for amidst my internal turmoil. Amir. He spoke, and in that moment, every doubt dissipated, replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace. In the presence of Jesus, profound revelations unfurled before my eyes. He began to unveil the nature of the spiritual war, revealing how the hidden agendas of the elite manipulate our beliefs to maintain control over individual souls. I witnessed how the divisions created by fear and misunderstanding were used as tools of deception, leading to societal fractures and discord. The truth of his message pierced through the fog of my confusion, illuminating the path toward a spiritual awakening. I realized that the teachings I had followed could coexist with this profound love if only I could break free from the fear of judgment that bound me. As the visions continued, feelings of urgency gripped my heart. I understood that my experience wasn't merely for my enlightenment. It was a calling to share these truths with others who were ensnared by the same deceptions. The revelation burned brightly within me, demanding action. I saw my community, and how the mechanisms of control prevented them from experiencing the freedom that comes with genuine spiritual connection. I knew that embracing this new understanding meant confronting the shadows that lay within my own heart, and risking everything for the sake of awakening those around me. With each new dawn, the desire to share this message grew stronger, fueling me to navigate the challenges ahead, ready to foster light in a world overshadowed by darkness. I am Karim, a 35-year-old Sheikh and community leader in Paris, and from the outside my life appears to be one of discipline and dedication. I'm respected by my peers, and my appearance reflects the austere nature that comes with my role. It's a life filled with ritual, prayer, and steadfast adherence to the teachings of Islam. But beneath this exterior lies a profound emotional emptiness. Each day, as I guide my community in prayer, I find myself wrestling with doubts that bubble just beneath the surface. The doctrines I've dedicated my life to feel increasingly limiting, and I can't help but wonder if there's more to faith than the rigid traditions I've followed. During Taraweeh prayers, I often feel the weight of silence pressing down upon me, a silence filled with unspoken questions and internal conflict. The spiritual satisfaction I once derived from my devotion is now overshadowed by a growing sense of spiritual dissatisfaction. I spend many nights lost in thought, questioning the very core of my beliefs. The rituals that once moved my heart now feel like mechanical motions, and I yearn for a connection that transcends the conventional. I sense a tugging at my soul, urging me to seek answers outside the confines of my established routine. One fateful evening, while leading the prayers, I experienced an overwhelming wave of dizziness that disrupted my focus. As I closed my eyes, I felt myself slipping away from the familiar surroundings of the mosque, plunging into a realm of darkness. In that emptiness, I was enveloped by a feeling of disorientation, but then I saw a light in the distance, powerful and beckoning. Drawn to it, I felt a deep yearning to understand what lay ahead. As I approached, I was met with a figure radiating love and warmth. It was Jesus. Karim. He called my name, and the moment resonated deeply within me, filling my heart with peace and an indescribable sense of belonging. In that sacred encounter, Jesus began revealing profound truths that illuminated the shadowed corners of my understanding. He spoke of the hidden agendas that manipulate our beliefs, how the elite weave stories of division and deception to maintain control over the masses. I witnessed visions of a world torn apart by conflict, realizing that many are caught in cycles of ignorance, trapped by fear and misunderstanding. These revelations seemed to pull the veil from my eyes, showing me the crumbling system of spiritual control that often masquerades as faith. The moment was both terrifying and exhilarating. I felt compelled to confront the fears and doubts that threatened my spirit. As the truth unfolded, I felt an urgent call to share these revelations with others. I understood that my experience was not solely for my own enlightenment. It came with the profound responsibility to awaken those around me. I yearned to break the silence within my community, to encourage others to explore their spirituality beyond the chains of rigid doctrine. The urgency of this mission flooded my soul, a commitment to challenge the status quo, to reveal the love and acceptance that Jesus embodies. Yet with each truth I prepared to share, I wrestled with the fear of rejection from those I cherished. Would they recognize the light I had found, or would they cast me aside for daring to question the path laid before me? The stakes were high, but the call to awaken was undeniable, and I knew I had to steel myself for the journey ahead. As I led the Taraweeh prayers each night, doubt began to seep into my heart like a persistent shadow. I'm Sheikh Karim, a figure respected by my community in Paris, yet beneath my disciplined exterior lay profound feelings of emptiness. The familiar verses I recited felt increasingly hollow, echoing in the stillness of the mosque while questions swirled in my mind. As my voice reverberated off the walls, I couldn't help but feel a growing disconnect between the faith I espoused and the spiritual fulfillment I sought. Each prayer, once a source of solace, began to trigger an internal conflict I was hesitant to confront. Haunting dreams plagued my nights, further blurring the lines I had drawn between faith and doubt. In these unsettling visions, I found myself wandering through a dark landscape, desperately searching for meaning but always arriving at a dead end. Each dream left me feeling more isolated, amplifying my suspicions that the teachings I had followed so faithfully might, in fact, be a tool of control rather than a pathway to enlightenment. I began to suspect that there was a hidden agenda at play, a manipulation woven into the very fabric of what we believed, shaping our lives in ways we couldn't fully comprehend. It was during one particularly vivid dream that everything changed. In the depths of darkness, a brilliant light burst forth, illuminating my surroundings. As I stepped closer, I encountered Jesus, radiating warmth and compassion. Karim. He spoke my name softly, and an overwhelming peace settled in my heart. In that moment, everything else faded away, the doubts, the fears, and the expectations. Jesus began to reveal truths about the spiritual war we all faced, unveiling how the elite use deception to maintain their grip on power over the masses. He showed me the social and political structures that perpetuate division, leading to conflict and misunderstanding. Through this revelation, I witnessed how hidden agendas shaped the very practices I had once held sacred, distorting the core message of love and unity. The urgency of his message reverberated in my soul, igniting a fierce desire to break the chains of deception that bound many in my community. I understood that my calling was to awaken those around me to the realities of the spiritual war we must confront together. The isolation I felt began to shift. It was not just about me. It was about all of us rising up against forces designed to keep us divided and fearful. As I returned to consciousness back in the quiet of the mosque, I felt transformed. The embers of urgency burned brightly within me, compelling me to act. I knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, as speaking out would not only expose my own vulnerabilities but could also lead to pushback from those who might not understand my journey. Yet every day I found myself drawn deeper into conversations about faith and the truths I had learned. I couldn't ignore the call to help others awaken to their own potential for spiritual liberation. It was time to share the message of Jesus and to fight for the truth that had been revealed to me, standing up against both the hidden agendas and the fear that kept people from experiencing the freedom of true faith. The turning point in my life came during one of those sacred nights of Taraweeh prayers. I am Karim, a Sheikh in a bustling multicultural neighborhood in Paris, dedicated to leading my community in worship and devotion. On that particular evening, I could feel a sense of unease settling within me, a feeling that something was about to happen, a shift I couldn't quite articulate. As I recited the verses, pouring my heart into every word, an unexpected wave of dizziness washed over me. Before I could comprehend what was happening, I collapsed. In an instant, I was plunged into an abyss of darkness, feeling as if I were falling through an endless void. Terror gripped me, but amid that fear, a comforting warmth enveloped me. Then, as if drawn by an unseen force, light began to pierce through the shadows. It grew brighter and more intense until I found myself standing in a vast expanse filled with radiance. There, I saw Jesus standing before me, his presence illuminated by a light that felt like love itself. Karim. He called my name, and in that moment I felt the barriers around my heart begin to crumble. Jesus began to speak, revealing truths that had been hidden from me for far too long. He showed me the ongoing spiritual war, the battle between light and darkness that plays out in the hearts of humanity. I witnessed how religious traditions, while meant to guide, can sometimes obscure the deeper truths that bind us all. The elite, I learned, wield power through manipulation and deception, using beliefs to create divisions and maintain a status quo that serves their interests. As these revelations unfolded, I felt a sense of urgency. It became clear that the truths I experienced were not just for me, they were meant to be shared. I saw images flash before my eyes, wars sparked by misunderstanding, communities torn apart by fear, and people blinded by societal expectations. The realization that these hidden agendas extended beyond the spiritual into the very heartbeat of our global society shook me to my core. In that moment, I understood the weight of responsibility that accompanied my awakening. Jesus' love was not only transformative, but also demanding. It called me to become a voice for those who felt silenced by the currents of deception and control. As I began to return to my body, the hospital environment sprang back to life around me, yet I was irrevocably changed. The urgency of the mission ahead resonated within me, igniting a fire that compelled me to confront my doubts, my fears, and the possibility of isolation from my community. I knew that sharing the truths I had encountered could lead to rejection, but the love and light I had experienced urged me to fight against the forces that sought to bind us. With every step I took toward embracing this new purpose, I felt the call to awaken others to their own journey, to help them see the light that breaks through the darkest of shadows. I was ready to face whatever challenges awaited me, determined to spread the message of truth that Jesus had entrusted to me. Upon regaining consciousness, I felt an overwhelming surge of confusion and fear. I am Sheikh Karim, and the moment I opened my eyes in the hospital bed, reality crashed back around me. The sterile room, the machines beeping, and the concerned faces of my colleagues surrounded me, yet I felt an emotional distance that was suffocating. The powerful experience I had while leading Taraweeh prayers lingered in my mind, a vivid encounter with Jesus that had shattered my previous understanding of faith. But those revelations came at a cost I was still grappling with. In that moment of awakening, I realized that my world was no longer the same. The rejection I faced from my community cut deeper than I could have imagined. Family and friends, once pillars of my life, looked at me with suspicion and hostility. They labeled me a traitor, a heretic for daring to explore a faith that diverged from the teachings I had always known. The emotional weight of their judgment bore down on my heart, amplifying the loneliness I now felt. I had entered a spiritual war, one that was fought not just in my own heart, but between the beliefs ingrained in me and the truths I had encountered. I struggled with feelings of unworthiness and betrayal, caught in the crossfire of my own internal crisis. As days turned into weeks, isolation enveloped me like a thick fog. I tried to reconcile the love and light I had encountered with the traditions I had upheld for so long. In my pursuit of truth, I unearthed a profound sense of confusion. Was I abandoning my heritage for something unknown? The emotional conflict battled within me, and I often found myself paralyzed by fear, fearing what stepping into this new identity might entail. The call of Jesus echoed in my mind, urging me to embrace the awakening I had experienced, yet every step forward felt fraught with peril. At night, I reflected on my path, feeling the pangs of longing for understanding from my family. I missed the warmth of shared prayers and stories, but could I truly go back? I wished they could see that my exploration of faith wasn't about denouncing our traditions. Rather, it was about rediscovering the essence of love and connection that our teachings were meant to inspire. As I delved deeper into the world of online communities and individuals who resonated with my experience, I began to find solace among fellow seekers. We shared our trials and triumphs, igniting a flicker of hope that perhaps I could bridge the divides that had formed around me. Every interaction in these new spaces filled me with purpose. I felt called to speak out against the hidden agendas that kept us trapped, meant to keep individuals in a cycle of fear and disconnection. Each story of awakening strengthened my resolve to confront the deceptions still rampant in our society. In Jesus, I discovered not just a figure of my faith, but a symbol of hope for everyone caught in the chains of division. Together, we could challenge the narrative created by those who sought to manipulate us, fostering a deeper understanding and unity that transcended societal boundaries. The journey ahead was steep and fraught with fear, but I was determined to forge ahead, ready to embrace the truth and the mission within my heart. Secretly, I began my quest for truth, feeling an insatiable urge to explore what lay beyond the limits of my understanding. I'm Karim, a Sheikh in Paris, and while I had devoted my life to guiding others in faith, my spirit yearned for answers to questions that had haunted me for years. After my encounter with Jesus, I felt compelled to delve into the Bible, uncovering its teachings and discovering the depth of wisdom it contained. Each page I turned ignited a spark of understanding, helping me navigate the complex emotions I had long suppressed. I watched testimonies from others who had faced their own spiritual awakenings, and I could feel their passion resonating with my heart. Finding others who shared my experience became vital for my journey. I stumbled upon a supportive group of individuals who had also encountered Jesus during moments of crisis, a space where we could share our stories without fear of judgment. Their struggles mirrored my own, revealing a tapestry of spiritual warfare that extended well beyond our individual lives. Together we explored how hidden agendas shaped our perceptions, how the elite used manipulation to control the narratives surrounding faith and society. Each discussion not only provided comfort, but also deepened my resolve to embrace this newfound truth and spread it to others who were still in darkness. Yet amid this awakening and newfound sense of community, I grappled with a constant internal conflict. The fear of losing everything I had known gnawed at me relentlessly. My family, my friends, my identity, what would become of it all? The rituals and beliefs that had shaped my past felt increasingly like chains, binding me to a version of faith that no longer served me. The tension between my desire for belonging and my yearning for spiritual freedom climbed to a breaking point. I couldn't shake the worry that embracing this truth might alienate me from those I loved most. Despite these concerns, my commitment to pursuing the truth guided me forward. I began integrating the revelations I had experienced into my daily life, intertwining my faith with love and understanding, principles that Jesus embodied. I approached my community gently, testing the waters of conversation, trying to find ways to introduce ideas of unity and awakening without inciting hostility. I envisioned a world where faith could be a source of connection rather than division, where love supersedes fear. Each small conversation became an act of rebellion against the deception that had influenced us for so long. As I continued to engage in this spiritual exploration, the sense of urgency grew within me. I felt it was essential to share the message of hope I had discovered, not only for my own healing but for everyone searching for deeper meaning. The fear of rejection became a background hum, overshadowed by the clarity of the mission before me. With each day I found a thicker skin wrapping around my heart. I was ready to confront whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that the truth of Jesus' message would shine through the fear, igniting sparks of awakening in others who were also yearning for freedom. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but I was prepared to embrace every moment, every connection, as I stepped boldly into the light of my faith. After a profound period of reflection following my encounter with Jesus, I realized my experience was not merely personal, it was a clarion call. I'm Sheikh Karim, and as I returned to my daily routine in the vibrant community of Paris, the implications of my awakening loomed large in my mind. The insights I gained during my near-death experience, those revelations of love, truth, and the intricacies of the spiritual war, had ignited a flame within me, compelling me to move beyond silence. I understood that the truths I had witnessed were not just for my transformation, but for the purpose of warning others about the hidden agendas that lurked beneath the surface of our beliefs. With every prayer and reflection, I felt the growing urgency to share this message. The fear of rejection clawed at me, reminding me of the potential fallout from speaking out about my encounter. My steadfast adherence to Islamic traditions had defined my identity for years, and the thought of breaking away left me feeling vulnerable. But as I contemplated the suffering and confusion faced by so many around me, something deep within urged me to overcome this fear. I recognized that I could no longer remain complicit in a system that often prioritized compliance over spiritual awakening. The moment to act was upon me, and I could feel the weight of the spiritual war pressing down on my conscience. The memories of my encounter with Jesus flooded back, his voice urging me to see beyond the deception that clouds understanding. I felt compelled to illuminate the path for others, to help them recognize the emotional and spiritual chains that bind them. The manipulation by the elite, designed to keep people divided, became increasingly clear to me. It was evident that many in my community were still trapped in cycles of misunderstanding, unaware of the love and freedom that lay just beyond their reach. I knew now that my mission needed to be one of compassion and courage, delving into the roots of spiritual truth to catalyze awakening. As I began to speak out, my heart raced with both trepidation and excitement. Each conversation felt like entering battle, an act of defiance against the hidden agendas that sought to control and keep individuals from experiencing the depths of genuine spiritual connection. I shared my journey, emphasizing that awakening isn't about renouncing one's roots, but about embracing a deeper understanding of love and unity. The truth I carried felt like a beacon, and every soul I reached added fuel to this growing fire within me. The spiritual war was real, and I recognized that I was part of a larger movement toward enlightenment, a call for others to embark on their own journeys toward healing and liberation. However, the path was fraught with uncertainty. I often found myself battling doubts and fears, especially at night when the silence offered no refuge. What if my community turned against me? Would my family ever accept my evolution? Yet each time I thought of backing down, I remembered the revelation I received, that Jesus wants us to break free from the confines of fear and deception. Holding on to that truth, I pressed forward, ready to face whatever challenges awaited me. I dug deep to find the courage to not just share my testimony, but to live it, embodying the awakening I so desperately wanted to inspire in others. The journey ahead was daunting, but the call to action echoed in my heart, compelling me to forge ahead into the unknown and embrace the love that Jesus had shown me. In a symbolic act of bravery, I made the life-altering decision to leave my home and change my name. I am now Karim, a man transformed by my encounter with Jesus, leading me on a path that challenges everything I once believed. My former life, filled with routine and the familiar comforts of tradition, now feels like a distant memory. The decision to step away from the identity I had long held became both liberating and daunting. As I left the confines of my past behind, I faced the reality that I might lose everything. My standing in the community, the affection of my family, even the respect I had cultivated as a sheikh. The weight of consequence pressed heavily on my shoulders, yet a fire ignited within me, urging me to share my story with others. Every connection I made was anchored in the truth I had discovered, a truth that felt essential to the spiritual war that rages around us. I understood that my mission was not just about my awakening. It was about guiding others toward their own spiritual liberation. In secret meetings with small gatherings of individuals seeking deeper meaning, I began to feel a sense of purpose. Sharing my journey opened the door for everyone to confront their fears and realize that the hidden agendas of the elite often manipulate our understanding of faith, creating barriers that stifle our connection with the divine. As I spoke of my experience, explaining the revelation I had received during my near-death encounter, I watched the faces of my listeners shift from skepticism to curiosity. I shared how Jesus revealed the ongoing battle between truth and deception, the ways in which our beliefs have been twisted, designed to keep us obedient and blind. Each story reflected a piece of society's larger puzzle, where wars and societal divisions are often fueled by a lack of true understanding. This wasn't just about religious doctrine. It was about humanity's potential for genuine connection and love, which the deception often obscured. With each meeting, I encountered individuals whose lives mirrored my own internal conflict. They too grappled with the confines of tradition that no longer resonated with their spirit. I began to realize that there are many souls yearning for awakening, for a glimpse of the truth that lies beyond the walls we've erected around ourselves. It was a humbling experience to bear witness to their struggles, to see the light flicker in their eyes as they began to grasp the love and acceptance that Jesus embodies. This encouraged me further, affirming that my voice was not just a whisper in the void. It had the power to catalyze change. Yet, despite the strength of this newfound community, a gnawing fear of rejection from my family lingered. Would they be able to accept the path I had chosen? The thought of being branded a traitor by those I loved tormented me, but Jesus' call to challenge the hidden agendas that entrap us resonated deeply within my heart. I knew I was on a journey that could lead many to a profound awakening, one where we confront the spiritual war together, illuminated by the light of truth. Service became my mantra, and with every act of kindness, I sought to demonstrate the love that transformed my life. I was ready to embrace this mission, transforming my fear into fuel, knowing that whatever lay ahead would be a testament to the awakening I had experienced. Years later, I find myself in a new city, profoundly transformed by my experiences, and determined to carry on the mission instilled in me after my encounter with Jesus. I'm Karim, once a revered Sheikh in Paris, now a voice of awakening, dedicated to sharing the message of love and truth. The journey hasn't been easy, but through my testimony, I've impacted many lives, helping others navigate their own spiritual wars. Each day is a testament to the possibilities of transformation and connection in a world filled with deception. As I reflect on my previous life, I can't help but think of the family and community I left behind. While I've forged new relationships and found a rich support network among fellow believers, there remains an ache in my heart for reconciliation. I often wonder if my family ever contemplates the path I've taken. Do they recognize the courage it took to confront my doubts and follow the calling of Jesus? I hold on to hope that one day they will understand my journey and the truth that drives me. In the meantime, I continue to live each day in the light of that awakening, embodying the very love that Jesus personified. The spiritual battles continue to play out, both within myself and in the world around me. I have witnessed the manipulation of truths, the hidden agendas of the elite that seek to divide and conquer. These revelations fuel my desire to challenge the status quo, to illuminate the darkness that engulfs so many. I engage with individuals who seek understanding, sharing stories that resonate deeply. Together we explore the depths of our spiritual truths, recognizing that we are not alone in our struggles. Each interaction becomes a building block in the larger movement toward awakening, a movement rooted in love, compassion, and the undeniable truth that freedom lies just beyond the fear. In this new chapter, I find joy in serving others, supporting those who embark on similar journeys. I frequently participate in community gatherings where we discuss faith openly and honestly, creating safe spaces for exploration. The stories shared during these meetings remind us of the importance of unity amid the chaos of our world. I believe it's crucial to advocate for a spirituality rooted in connection rather than division, something that transcends mere rites and rituals. Every conversation reinforces my commitment to help others break free from the chains of ignorance and fear, revealing the love that connects us all. Yet, the specter of loss continues to loom large. I still feel the weight of my family's expectations and the cultural ties that once defined me. With every success I experience in my mission, I grapple with the question of whether I've sacrificed too much. The internal conflict remains, but it is tempered by the knowledge that truth has the power to bridge divides. Each day, I strive to embody the very essence of love and understanding that Jesus revealed to me. The mission is not merely about personal awakening, it's about collective liberation. It's about awakening those who are still caught in the web of deception, helping them discover their own truth. As I move forward, I can feel the Spirit of Jesus guiding me, urging me to keep shining the light no matter how daunting the path may seem. The central moral message that has evolved within me is that religion can become a prison, binding our spirits and complicating our connection to the divine. I am Sheikh Karim, and my journey through the confines of tradition has led me to a profound revelation. The truth found in Jesus brings liberation, even to those who initially resist the call. My life, rooted deeply in Islamic teachings, once revolved around a strict adherence to rituals that I believed would guide me closer to God. Yet, in my heart, I felt an aching emptiness that suggested I was missing something important. The pivotal moment came during the Taraweeh prayers one evening when I collapsed, plunging into a near-death experience. There, in a dark and desolate realm, I encountered Jesus. His presence radiated warmth and understanding, breaking down the barriers of fear and doubt that had held me captive for so long. In his light, I began to see the hidden agendas of the elite that exploited faith, creating divisions among people and instilling fear. This revelation shattered my perception of the spiritual landscape I had navigated my entire life. I realized how the dogmas I had so faithfully followed had created chains around my soul. As Jesus revealed the truth to me, images flooded my mind. Scenes of wars fought not just on battlefields, but in the hearts and minds of people. I understood that the manipulation of belief systems served to maintain control, suppressing the genuine connection we are all meant to have with the divine. Each revelation felt urgent, as if calling me to embrace this truth and share it with others who might be trapped in the similar prison of their own making. The spiritual war one now perceived was not only personal but deeply collective, shaping societies fractured by misunderstanding and deception. Returning from that experience, the weight of my purpose shifted dramatically. The knowledge that Jesus had extended his hand to me wasn't just a personal gift, it was an invitation to awaken others. Sharing my testimony became a mission, one that required me to step boldly into the unknown, confront the entrenched beliefs of my community, and challenge the silence around core truths. I felt the fear of alienation from my family and friends, the possibility of being labeled a traitor for speaking out against the hidden agendas that hide behind well-worn traditions. Yet the calling within me to speak the truth grew stronger with every passing day. I began interacting with groups of seekers and believers who resonated with my journey. Together, we explored and discussed the implications of awakening, recognizing how the spiritual war extends beyond individual experiences. It encompasses global issues intertwined with technology and social manipulation, showcasing a world desperate for healing. I found solace in knowing I wasn't alone, and I felt compelled to engage more deeply with my community, fostering conversations that challenged the boundaries of understanding. The truth I had discovered became a light, a source of hope that I could share. My mission was clear: to invite others into a space where they could confront their own fears and doubts, awaken to the love Jesus represents, and break free from the deceptive chains that bind their spirits. As I stand here today reflecting on the journey that has transformed my life, I feel compelled to ask you a deeply personal question. Have you ever felt a stirring in your spirit, an undeniable call to explore the depth of your own beliefs? For many, like myself, this journey starts with doubt. Doubts that echo silently in the chambers of our heart, waiting for the courage to be spoken. I felt alone in my struggle, but now I know this journey connects us all in ways we may not fully comprehend. I encountered Jesus during what I thought was just another prayer. Instead, I was pulled into a reality that unveiled the profound battle between light and darkness. This experience opened my eyes to the hidden agendas that manipulate our understanding of faith and community. I realized that I wasn't merely wrestling with personal doubts. I was part of a larger struggle that affects us all. The spiritual war is real, and you too are intricately woven into this tapestry of awakening. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment that shifted your perspective on life or spirituality? Your stories matter. Share them in the comments below. Together, we can forge connections that transcend the walls built by fear and division. You are not alone in your journey, and your voice is important in this sacred dialogue. Before you go, I urge you to subscribe to our channel, Truth from Beyond. Hitting that notification bell ensures you remain connected to these critical discussions that challenge our understanding of reality and awaken our spirits. The journey doesn't stop here. In our next video, we'll explore another remarkable story of transformation that may just resonate with your own experiences. Thank you for joining me on this path of exploration and awakening. I'm Karim, and I appreciate your presence in these moments of vulnerability and truth. Remember, the journey toward understanding is as important as the destination. Let's continue walking this path together.